Hi, Charlie.
Hello, Danielle. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I want to show you this game called Sunset from Tale of Tales.
I have been so excited for this game since I heard about it. I've been on like media lockdown about this one because I just want to experience it for the first time. So don't spoil it for me, Danielle.
Okay,
while
I
we
won't.
Play it together.
This is only the first hour of the game, and we're not going to go through the entire first hour, but I've captured a little bit here from the first hour of the game, and I'm so excited to show it to you because it is, obviously you can see this is a first-person exploration game. It is set in the 70s, 1972, in a fictional Latin country, and you play as this woman. She is a maid in sort of an apartment from a very rich, powerful man who is connected to the military in this country that is having political and military issues, let's say. I won't spoil anything, but there's a lot of upheaval in this country.
The word coup comes to mind.
Yes.
It's been mentioned several times.
Yes.
But,
it sure is. It sure is. And very important to note, this woman that you're playing as, she is an engineer. She went to college for 5 years. She grew up in Baltimore. She grew up poor and, kind of is a self-made woman. She's an engineer and then ended up in this country because she wanted to get out of, sort of the atmosphere she was in and ended up being a maid. And there's actually a really poignant moment in the VO, and you'll hear it soon, basically, where she talks about, it's all people could think a black woman could be is a maid back in Baltimore. And here I traveled half the world, and I'm a maid, basically, again. So it's a very contemplative game. It's a game that really kind of goes for the jugular in terms of political issues, identity politics, things of that nature.
All right. Well, I've got a couple of questions.
Sure.
This sounds like such a deep and meaty backstory. How is it delivered to the player? This seems like such an awkward way to do it, by all these voiceovers from yourself in your own ears while you're looking through someone else's eyes. Is it effective?
I think it's effective. Now, certainly the gameplay is very simple. You can see here, you're kind of looking around at things, you're interacting with the environment. She tells you things through voiceover. She kind of, is talking to herself, and you can see her right here. This is us. Every time you kind of go up against a window, she fixes her hair, kind of checks herself out in the mirror, that kind of thing, which is a nice touch. So I would say it's effective because this game feels so very personal. It feels like a quiet sort of thing that a person would do as they're doing, basic things. Cleaning up, washing the dishes, cleaning up after this rich guy in his apartment. I would talk to myself. I don't know if that makes me weird or what, but I know I would talk to myself and I would sort of comment on the objects and things in the environment. Right here. I wonder which the nude or the dressed woman, which one does Senor Ortega prefer, basically. She kind of gets to know this guy by looking at his stuff and cleaning up his stuff. And it's an interesting commentary on what, service workers encounter and what they see when sort of the rich and powerful aren't around, and when the rich and powerful leave all their stuff hanging around, literally all their hair down, basically.
I recently read an article, I forget where it was or what it was about, but it was about a period piece. I think it was about Mad Men. And the quote from the guy that made Mad Men was, every period piece is really talking about the time in which it was produced.
Absolutely.
So what is this 1970s fictional representation of a fictional country with a fictional coup and a fictional maid telling us about our very real world today?
I think it's telling us a lot about sort of the way that people are treated and class difference. This woman she's a maid, but like I said early on, she lets you know, she went to college, she's an engineer. She did all of this education and, she wanted to get out of a place that felt racist and felt oppressive to her. But no matter where she goes, she's always going to be a black woman. And she's always going to be treated a certain way. And I think that's absolutely relevant today and absolutely saying something about the way the world is today and a way that people are oppressed today and, kind of always have been, basically. And it also says a lot about, I don't know. Right here, we're looking at paintings, and the art museums have been closed down in this country, but this rich guy still has these paintings. He has all this stuff. So it's about the hypocrisy of perhaps the very rich, and the hypocrisy of people being oppressed over other people.
All right. So if games then are a much more proactive medium that gives power and control to the player, what are you doing in this game? Like, what are you trying to accomplish other than clean this guy's house?
Well, so far, you're basically cleaning this guy's house, and I think that's kind of the point, that you should feel a little bit powerless. All of this stuff is going on. There are, at this point in the game, I've skipped ahead a tiny bit here. Every day is sort of a new, you have new tasks. You have to clean the dishes one day, or set up the patio another day, things like that. You're doing mundane things while the world changes around you. And I think that's kind of the point. In most games, you are, the soldier with the gun who is, at the center of the war, who's making all the action happen. But in this game, you are literally the person who is, cleaning up somebody's house who's probably going out and doing all those things. And I think that's actually a very powerful statement about agency. You can look at his slippers. She gives really insightful commentary about this man and about sort of what is he doing here? He has friends outside of this war-torn country. Why is he still here? What is he doing? So there is certainly a sense of mystery, and there is a sense of progression. So each day you kind of learn a little bit more. Each day things get a little messier in the apartment. There's sort of a sense of, things are going to hell in this country, and things are going to hell in this guy's life as well. So we're seeing that. We're seeing a little bit of that each day in this game. And I think that's actually a very effective way of progressing the narrative. Again, a very, very simple gameplay. I don't think it has to be more involved than this. I don't think it has to be more involved to make this statement that it's saying about doing mundane things and looking at mundane details and how much that actually means and how much that actually does say about a person in their life and the context in which they live their life, like the country they live in.
The very super modern look of this apartment is really showing off just the beautiful lighting that they've got going on in this game. What's kind of your interpretation of just the look of this game?
Oh, it is absolutely the swankiest possible thing. She comments at one point, actually, I thought these chairs were props from a sci-fi movie, like props from a space movie, basically. It's very funny. It's very, swank mod, early 70s, best money can buy kind of thing. But it also has this very clean, austere look to it. The idea being this person probably doesn't have or doesn't like having messes. This person really likes everything being ordered and beautiful and perfect and nice. She comments at one point like, he probably needs a lot of help. He probably had a very guarded childhood. He's always been a person of privilege, basically.
About how long of an experience is it?
I was reading, actually, on the site, it says kind of anywhere between, I think, 2 hours and 4 hours, depending on kind of if you're looking at everything. And I like to look at everything. I mean, in a game where the entire game is to look at everything, I like to do that. That's the point of this. This is not an action-packed thriller, basically. This is a quieter, more contemplative game, and I prefer looking at everything. So thank you so much, Charlie. This has been Sunset by Tale of Tales.
Good evening, Daniel.